lot of people would probably say that Resident Evil doesn't hold up as a very good franchise, but I would think otherwise. I mean, even with all the bad voice acting that they have.
Wow!
Ha! It seems like this bulletproof jacket is pretty strong.
I see.
How about Captain Wesker?
He is sleeping with the ultimate failure. Hurry up! I want to get out of here.
But besides that one, here we go with my top 10 Resident Evil games, 2023 edition.
Been a while since we fought together, Captain.
Doing nothing but recon's gotten me out of shape.
Let's have some fun, people.
Move out.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, so at my number 10, I've got Resident Evil Reverse, which I know it just came out, which is crazy for me to say. Well, it pretty much just came out, but I think this game has some potential to be something. I mean, I've already been playing it, I've already put quite a bit of my money into it, and I think this is something that Resident Evil really needed, and I put it in my top 10 because, quite frankly, I think it has room for improvement, and it can improve, and it probably will improve. So, I'm going to stick around for this game and watch as it gets better, because I think in the future updates, it's going to end up becoming something, and it might even move up in my list, but for now, I've got it at number 10. Next up is Dead Aim, and before I say anything else, just listen to the credit song they got for this. This is so classic 2003. No, but in all seriousness, Resident Evil Dead Aim is one of the first Resident Evil games that got me introduced into the franchise at a very young age, back on the PS2. So, I just remember for that and it being very nostalgic, and looking back at it after all these years, looking at Bruce and Fong Lin, they look like Leon and Ada ripoff, if I do say so myself. I mean, just look at that, it looks just like them. But, I mean, besides all of that stuff, it is very fun to play. It's kind of an action game, just shoot them and that's about it. It's kind of hard to get your hands on nowadays, but if you do, I'd recommend playing it. Other than that, let's get on to number 8. Next up at my number 8 spot, I've got Resident Evil 2 Remake, which might come off as a surprise for a lot of people because 1, a lot of people like this game, and 2, I've put a lot of hours into this game, and for those of you that actually have watched some of my older content and stuff, like this one, you can see that I've put a lot of time into this game, and I've got a lot of speed runs on the speedrun leaderboard on speedrun.com. So I've definitely put a lot of time into this game. If I could try to put into an accurate amount of hours that I've played, I would say about 300 to 400 hours on this game. So it's a great game, but it cannot touch what Resident Evil 2, the original, did. So therefore it's number 8.
Bioorganic weapons are a global threat. Start working with the rest of the world about the Raccoon City incident. Mentioning my desire to reveal. I'm going to tell them everything. I've always valued your friendship, Leon.
Okay, here we go. Next up, I've got Resident Evil 6. This one, as well, might come off as a surprise for a lot of you, but I am in the majority of Resident Evil fans that do think Resident Evil 6 is an underrated game. Next up on my list, I got Resident Evil 1 Remake at the number 6 spot. I couldn't really figure out where I should put this on my list. Let me know down in the comments where you would have put this on your list if you would have made a top 10 Resident Evil games, because I feel like a lot of people would have probably put this one higher up on their list, but I just didn't know for sure because I don't play the game that much, and it's a pretty stressful game to play, I'll give them that. But it is such a good game, and I can see where a lot of people are coming from when they say how good of a game it is. I mean, it nailed it when it came to remaking an old original game. I mean, the voice acting in this is so much better, guys, and the gameplay mechanics and everything else about this game is just beautiful, and there's nothing else really to say about this. I mean, I hate to say that I didn't put this anywhere higher up on my list, but number 6 is where it's at.
Claire! Open your eyes! Wake up!
Claire.
Alright, we've made it halfway through. We got number 5, Resident Evil Revelations 2. I got that right in my number 5 spot for top 5. I would have to say this is one of the best Resident Evil games ever made, and it is not even one of the main titled Resident Evil games. It's pretty much, what would they call that, a spin-off? It's pretty much a spin-off of Resident Evil, but it's so good in every way. It's got co-op, it's got action, it's got raid mode, which I didn't even know what raid mode was until I played this game. Fun fact, I've still never played Revelations 1. I've seen it in stores and I saw it was single player, and I didn't want to try it because co-op at the time I thought was just the funnest way to go. But now that I am a hardcore Resident Evil fan, I think I might go back and try the original raid mode for a chance.
Don't worry, Claire. I'm coming to save you.
Next up at number 4, I put Code Veronica X. This one is also one like Dead Aim. It's one of the first Resident Evil games I ever had as a kid on the PS2, so it's very nostalgic for me. And in the past year or so, I went back and I've actually played the battle mode gameplay that you're seeing right now. But going back and playing this actually showed me just how fun Code Veronica is and how great of a game it is. And if you guys did not know, you can do an infinite herb glitch if you look it up on YouTube, and it works the same way for ammo, so you can do either infinite herb or infinite ammo for the bow gun, and it makes it a lot easier and a lot more fun in my opinion. But besides that, let's get on to my official top 3 Resident Evil games. Okay, next up we've got the original Resident Evil 2. I had to at least include this in my top 3 because this is the first Resident Evil game that I ever played. So this is my oldest memory of Resident Evil. I would imagine for everyone else, when it comes to the first Resident Evil game they've ever played, it's very high up there on their favorites because you just go back and play it and you just get so many memories of playing it as a kid or just the first time you played it in general. So of course this had to be in my top 3. Sorry for Resident Evil 2 Remake, it's a great game, I know. I've played it plenty of times, but I've also played this one plenty of times, and the nostalgia just hits, and it just wins every time over the remake in my opinion. So, with that being said, let's move on to number 2.
Six years have passed since that horrendous incident.
Okay, so number 2, I've got Resident Evil 4. This one I've played plenty of times, and just recently I got the hand cannon unlocked by completing Mercenaries, so I am proud that I got that done just in time for the Resident Evil 4 remake. But there's so many things about the original still that I love so much about it, like doing these puzzles and even like separate ways, and doing the Assignment Ada DLC and everything else about it. Even Mercenaries is all so fun. I hope these are things that are included in the RE4 remake. I've heard that the Mercenaries could be co-op. That could be exciting, and I have done some pretty impressive speed runs in separate ways, so I hope they include that as well. But now, you guys are probably wondering, what is my number 1 spot?
Billion cries of agony will birth a new balance. Soon, even you will understand, Chris. One glimpse of my new world, and it will all make perfect sense.
Show yourself!
Unfortunately, it's too late for you. You will not live to see the dawn.
Alright, so number 1, Resident Evil 5. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. But I know what I thought right when I decided I was going to make this top 10 was that this was number 1, because this was something that I've always played. And for a long time fan of this game, I want to point out one flaw if I could. I would say that the boss fight, specifically this Irving fight, might be a little bit too easy. And not only that, but the infinite weapons and the good guns and stuff are a lot easier to obtain than in RE4. And the Mercenaries itself, I think, is a lot just easier / more fun than RE4. But that's why I put them right there at number 2 and number 1, because that era of Resident Evil, I think, was the best that they had going for them. And I don't know, just that's how it is. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but other than that, like, subscribe, and let me know if you guys want to see more of these. And this could be a thing. I could do top 10 Resident Evil characters or anything else you want to see. So with that being said, peace.